Alrighty. I think we're live. Hello. Oh, there we go. Hello. Welcome. Welcome to session 2 of the Inner Creator Coaching Walkthrough. Absolutely my pleasure to be here today. If you happen to miss last week, that replay is available on YouTube, and I'll be sharing that with you all here on the Book of Faces also. But let me get this set up so I can see the things. Okay, so I think I can see the comments. If anybody comes on and comments. Okay, so welcome. My name is Anjulique, also known as Anjulique the artist. I am an expressionist artist, a youth mental wellness advocate, and a spiritual life coach. And I am here to help you tap into your inner creator without blame, shame, or guilt, to create an authentic life without feeling like you are shining too bright or being too much. To get that idea out of your mind, out of your spirit, without feeling like it's something bigger than you. And I don't mean bigger than you as it's going to serve the world, but I mean bigger than you like it's a giant that you can't conquer. It's within you. It was given to you. So you can rise to that occasion. You just have to tap into it. So that's what we're here for. That's what we're doing. This inner creator coaching process is one that I developed because I found myself going through it. I wasn't always Anjulique the artist. I was Anjulique just trying to survive. And when I say survive, I mean survival at the very bare minimum. And at the very bare minimum, you're not really living a life that you desire to live. You're not really creating a life that is satisfying for you. We have a tendency as human beings to believe that we only deserve so much. We can only get so much. Has there ever been a time when you felt like you only deserve so much or were able to create so much in your life? I've definitely been in that place. And I found myself going through this process of self-development and self-awareness. And it helped me to understand that I have the creative power and potential within me. And not just to create art, to create beautiful pictures, to express emotions, to capture ideas, but to also create a life that is fulfilling and satisfying for me internally. I had a very heavy heart growing up. In my younger years, there was literally a stone in my chest, and I had to do that work to massage out those knots and that pain and that frustration. And now my heart is light and full of love and peace and gratitude. And I'm sharing that with you all today. And through this inner creator coaching process. So today we're going to be going over session 2. What separation are we imagining? Because everything is created in the mind, in the imagination first. So what separation from our inner creator are we imagining? Because if you're like me, you had a life where you didn't think that you could create a life that you desire to live. And what happens is we begin to build these ideas and these situations, these circumstances, these limitations in our mind and live them out in the world like it's real. But newsflash, spoiler alert, it's all in the imagination. It all starts in the mind. But before we get any further, This is an open conversation. I'm sharing this experience with you. But when you book me, this will be a confidential conversation. I will not be sharing any part of your experience because I want to hold that safe space for you to express openly and vulnerably. But however, if you want to go and share your experience, you want to talk about any breakthroughs that you had, any awareness that came to you, feel free, by all means. I highly recommend that you share your experience with people. But as the professional, I will not be sharing your experience. We will hold this confidential. And today, this is an open session. It's me. I'm an open book. So I share my experience. I am open to inviting you in. So that's just a little precursor just to let you know when you book me, these are confidential sessions that we have. And yeah. So what we're looking to accomplish in this session today is unpacking what separations we've imagined as part of our life that have created a distance between us and our inner creator. And the reason that this is called inner creator is because it's an innate, internal energy, force, strength, gift that we have. Last week we went over how we are created, connected. We are created in the image and likeness of the Creator, of Divine, of Source, of God, of Allah. However you want to call this all presence, all energy, all creative, that is, we are created, connected to that source. We are made in the image of that source. We are given the power of that source. So what are we imagining how are we imagining that we are separated from that? We're going to investigate what attachments are pulling us away from our inner creator connection. If you're going through this process, and if you're like me, you have the desire to realign your connection with your inner creator. As I previously mentioned, we're created connected, which means something is pulling your focus and energy away from that connection. Because where our focus and our energy go is what grows in our life, is what we are paying attention to, is what we see in our reality. And if you're not putting your focus and your energy on your internal power, on your inner creator, you're not going to be connected to that power and that creator. There's something that you're more connected to than your inner creator. Perhaps it's a subconscious belief you were raised with, a habit that you picked up from your peers or your coworkers or your siblings, or an exchange that happened with a significant other that's replaying in your mind, that's feeding into your mindset and feeding into other relationships, especially the relationship with yourself. We tend to think that what's outside of us, that what's keeping us, we tend to think it's what's outside of us that's keeping us from where we desire to be. And I'm going to read that again. We tend to think it's what's outside of us. External circumstances, situations, people. We tend to think it's what's outside of us that's keeping us from where we desire to be. We think the obstacles are external. We think the challenges are external. However, most personal development and mental wellness professionals will remind us, as I've learned, that we have the power of choice. That we have the power of choice. That we are consciousness. that we are awareness, that we have the power to choose. Often we choose to use our ability of choice. We choose to use our imagination, our creative ability to protect ourselves. Excuse me. Creating guards to avoid emotional hurt and physical hurt. Sometimes we are in situations where we have experienced physical traumas. That's something that I've been unpacking recently for myself. We develop physical compensations to deal with physical hurt. As a massage therapist, that was something that I learned and studied. How people have a lean to a certain side, or their hips are aligned in a certain way because they twisted their ankle in high school, or they broke their thumb in middle school. Personal story. And they develop a compensation within their body, and it throws off the whole system. And we create these guards, these compensations to protect ourselves. Our body, mind, and energy want to be protected so we can continue living in a way that makes sense to us and to those around us, especially in our childhood. In the rooms that I participate in with Leah Abraham and other people from the wider community, they talk a lot about performance and acting out of obligation, and how that is brought up in childhood because we have this desire to survive and to be accepted. And being accepted is often intertwined with survival. So our body, our mind, and our energy want to be protected so we can continue living in a way that makes sense. We don't want to feel like we're crazy. We don't want to feel like, oh, this is this reality isn't reality. However, what's inside of us is a powerful, unique, creative force. A force that created the universe. And that's not always what people expect. Honestly, it's not what people are taught to expect from others or from themselves. But that power is waiting for us to release whatever we're attached to. That's telling us what's inside is not as powerful as what's outside, so that we can begin living in our true power. We aren't taught these things, especially if you come from a area of socioeconomic lack. If you come from a trauma background where there was abuse, physical, sexual, verbal, emotional, people have these generational cycles of treating each other a certain way. And it's not a way that honors that creative force that's inside of you. It's not in a way that respects that true power that is in each of us innately. And we have to do the work, which is assessing ourselves, bringing that to our consciousness, raising our awareness, understanding what separations we're imagining from our inner power, understand what external things we're allowing to create obstacles in our life, and how we're imagining how that has power over us. So let me ask a question. When do you feel most connected to your inner power? For me, I feel most connected to my inner power when I am meditating, when I'm visualizing, because I understand that through practice over these years. I understand that if I can imagine it in my mind and take the time to bring my body into a sense of stillness and my energy into a sense of stillness and align with that vision that I'm creating in meditation, that it will bring it forth. I feel most connected to my inner power when I know that I have control of my thoughts and my energy and my focus and my emotions. That's powerful, y'all. We don't often realize how distracted we get by the media, by situations going on with our family, by different obligations that we have at work. So many things distracting us. Just from my own personal experience, I realized the other day that I used to think a lot of thoughts about sex and sexuality. Like when I was a younger person in high school and in college, honestly, until recently, I decided to take a promise of celibacy with myself. Not for any sort of religious reason or because of any type of group or anything, which is something that I have to say because I grew up in a Catholic school. So that was something they're constantly butting on, like abstinence, celibacy, abstinence, celibacy. Make a promise to God. But I recently put that in place for myself, because I just didn't want to think about sexual things anymore. I just didn't want to think about it. I was like, I don't want this on my mind. And the only way to not have that distraction is to say that I'm saving sex for marriage. And unless I'm married, there's no sexual, sexy things happening. That doesn't mean I don't feel sensual. That doesn't mean I don't feel sexy. That doesn't mean I'm not gonna dress up or feel myself. But it does mean if I'm interacting with somebody that I'm not thinking, ooh, are we gonna go hook up? Or, ooh, what do they think about my body? All of these things. Just not on my mind. And I realized recently, literally this morning or yesterday morning, how much of my time in my mind, how much of my focus and my energy was going towards sexual interaction or the preparation for sexual interaction or discerning if something was leading to sexual interaction. So much of my mind power. And I cannot vocalize that enough. So much of my mind power was going towards sexual thoughts. And I was like, wow, I'm just so open and free now. I have so much mind. I have so much mind time. I have so much mind energy. Because I'm not thinking about, is this a sexual situation or not? Will this lead to a sexual situation or not? It's incredible. It's incredible when you raise your awareness to say, is this a distraction? Is this serving me? What results is this bringing to my life? And for me, I found that thinking about sex all the time just was not serving me. It's one of those attachments that I had as a young person because I grew up in the Chicagoland area, and even though I went to Catholic school for the majority of my education years, that was a big conversation, and there was this stigma, stereotype, like Catholic school girls are like freaks or whatever, or like promiscuous, but they like trying to be good girls. And you've seen the Halloween costumes with the little skirts and the ties, and you seen it, There's this whole stigma, this whole trying to think of the word fetish around Catholic schoolgirls, and I grew up with that mentality. And I was sexually active in high school also because it was just so in the atmosphere. And all the bump and grind music and all of the slow jams and the baby making, it was just so prevalent. It was so prevalent. It was so thick in the air. I was like, how did I not? I gotta know what this thing is. And as a young person, I don't try to force or push any young people to not explore their sexuality, because I would be a hypocrite. However, I am finding that I could have been spending my time and my energy doing a lot of other things. Because one of the things I did use my sexual energy for was distraction, was to distract me from other emotions, from other situations that I didn't want to think about. To, I don't want to say numb, but to cope with different stresses. I would be like, I don't really feel like thinking about this. I'm going to just, go over here and have some time with myself. Or I'm going to hit this person up and we're going to see what they're getting into. Just distracting myself. And I can say that and own that now as a 30-year-old woman, that I was distracting myself. And I thought that when I was younger, I would continue having all of these potent sexual urges, and that I needed to have somebody in my life so I could satisfy them. That was one of my main reasons for having a partner, was to be with somebody so I could have that satisfaction, have that distraction. But then, honestly, the pandemic happened and everything shut down. And I was just like, listen, I don't really want to be touching none of y'all. I gotta be real. I was like, I don't want to be interacting with people like that, because I already know that a lot of people don't really have their standards that high when it comes to taking care of themselves. And with this whole situation going on, I'm good. I'm good. Thanks. I'm Gucci. Thank you. Stay over there. And then it just kind of turned into this, I don't really have sexual urges like that. Not as much as I used to. Like, I still find people attractive. I still, like I said, I still feel myself. I'm like sexy, but I'm not as engulfed by it as I was. And I realized that was one of the separations that I was creating from my inner creator. And it's not because sexual energy isn't creative energy. It's one of the most creative energies. But I was using that energy as a way to detach myself from things and attach myself to other people and not to myself. And so having that understanding really helped me to find a lot of clarity. And just realizing that the other day, I was like, yo, I have so much mind time and so much mind energy. So when do you feel most connected to your inner creator? Is it when you're meditating? Is it when you're out in nature? Is it when you're creating artwork? Is it when you're writing in your journal? When do you feel most connected to your inner power, to your inner creator? And since we're pretty much at the time, I'll save the other questions for another day or another post, or for our session, because we will talk about it during our sessions. They are an hour of time that you will love to have investing in yourself. So if you are interested in diving into what could be separating you, what separations you're imagining from your inner creator, then reach out to me at anjuliqueart@gmail.com. Check out Anjulique.com, my website, if you want to know more information. And also, it has the full process that we go through, all 6 steps. all 6 investigation areas, and feel free to go through it yourself. And if you do, please hit me up, email me, let me know what your experience was like, let me know what breakthroughs you had, what insights you had, any feedback that you have at all on the experience if you decide to go through it yourself. And as a part of these sessions, when we do them one-on-one and virtually or in person, I'm open to that. We can talk about it during the discovery call. There'll also be a visualization activity. And the visualization activity for this one is to select colors that inspire you in free flow with shapes, lines, and forms. So really just kind of getting a page and getting creative and seeing what comes forth from that. And of course, there is self-work, because this is a course. This is an opportunity to be introspective. This is an opportunity to assess yourself, to look at yourself, to bring what's unconscious to the conscious. So for your self-work, and I'll just give you one, and it's just a very simple one. Write out 10 times this statement. A powerful creator is inside of me, waiting to be seen by me. A powerful creator is inside of me, waiting to be seen by me. A powerful creator is inside of you, waiting to be seen by you. What separation are you imagining? What distractions are you allowing to pull you from your inner creator? Because it's waiting to be seen by you. And once you see yourself truly, fully for the powerful creator that you are, for the magnificent being that you are, for this powerful emergence of life that you are, the world begins to open up. Your heart begins to get lighter. Your mind becomes clearer. That peace that surpasses understanding is your life. It is your life when you see the powerful creator that is inside of you, because you know there's nothing outside of you that can hinder that. So that is our session for today. I'm still researching some reading suggestions, some listening suggestions for this. And I will post that on a different post. But yeah, definitely do that self-work. Write out 10 times, a powerful creator is inside of me, waiting to be seen by me. And if you have any questions or comments on the session today, definitely reach out to me. You can message me here on the Facebook page things. And you can also email me at anjuliqueart@gmail.com if you want to step forward with booking your inner creator session. You're like, I've seen this, I want to jump into it, let's get into it, girl. Book a discovery call and we can talk about it. It's a free call, no strings attached, no obligations required. We'll just talk about why this is important for you in this season. Thank you for taking this time to watch the video. Thank you for taking the time to investigate yourself and raise your awareness. The more people that are connected to their inner creator, the more at peace the world will be. The more we can break these generational traumas and these generational patterns of putting each other down and disrespecting the universe that lives in each and every one of us. And we'll begin to nurture and respect and see that power that lies within each and every one of us. I appreciate you much. Again, thank you for watching. Make sure you follow the page and check out the socials. And again, if this is of interest to you at all, book a discovery call. AnjuliqueArt@gmail.com, or you can go on my website and fill out the contact form. And other than that, I will see you next week for part 3, which is, hold on, I gotta look it up. Still learning. Let's see here. Part 3, let me see if I can remember it off the top of my head. I believe part 3 is creating a personal practice. Because we have to release these connections. We have to release these attachments. So part 3 is about creating a clear connection through release. So we'll be discussing how we can release our attachments to these external circumstances so that we can create a clear connection with ourselves. Because again, the connection is already there. We talked about that last week. The connection is already there. We're created connected. And today we talked about how we're imagining separation because we're attached to things outside of us. So next week, the next step is releasing those connections or releasing those attachments so that we can have a clear connection. Really looking forward to that conversation. Juicy, juicy stuff. So yeah, make sure you're here. Make sure you watch the replay. And I will see y'all next week. Bye.